Welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner. My name's Ralph Williams, and you heard the opening video. Smokin' Jim Frazier by phone. Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program as always.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Looking forward to the show.
All right, we have a new sponsor tonight. We're being sponsored by Amped Up Sports. Now, here's the story with Amped Up Sports. They're taking our Sports Corner program and they're putting it on several websites nationally. So check out some of their national websites and you will find Sports Corner. It's great to be hooked up now with Amped Up Sports, and I want to thank Leo Haggerty and Peter Blake for helping us get this going with them. It's because of their efforts that we're there as well. Also tonight, as always, I dedicate all my shows to my late nephew, Sean Negley Jr. But tonight, we're going to dedicate this show tonight to the late Neil Spence, who was a traffic reporter for in Pittsburgh here. He used to fly an airplane, and he would do the traffic reports on KISS 96.1 and on WTAE radio as well. He died 2 days ago, 90 years old. He died of cancer. I want to send my condolences out to the family of Neil Spence. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting him a few times, and Neil was trying to help me get into radio, get it on to a radio station. The station's name I'm not going to mention, but he was trying to, with his efforts about 15 years ago, he was trying to get me on a radio station. And so that's why I thank Neil Spence and wish his family my condolences as well. Unlike some other people in this town who have stuck it to me, at least Neil Spence had the decency to try to help me. All right. Tonight we're going to get started with our sponsor, Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio. Get up to Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio. It's only 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. They have grain, hay, beef, and they make all their beef, and they have great beef packages. So give them a call today at 740-346-5442 and 740-632-2894. Also, Hillcrest Farms, Ohio at gmail.com and www.hillcrestfarmohio.com and Hillcrest Farm on Facebook. You can check out their website, find out their specials. They're also running a contest where you'll get a year of free beef. So you might want to check that out on their website and sign up for their contest to get the free beef. All right. I also want to talk about our other sponsor, Draft 412. Get on their website today, Draft 412. They have everything you need to know about any kind of draft, whether it's baseball, football, NBA, NHL, anything that's draft related. And they give you all the prospects and the current prospects that are in both the Pirates system, in the NBA system, in the NHL system. Whatever system they're in, they will give you distinct facts about every player that is available. $9 a month, that's all it is. Get a hold of Draft 412. Get on their website today and check it out. Also, I want to talk about our studio sponsor, and we are in the DJ Fun Studios here. DJ Fun, 412-545-4317. Call DJ Fun today. 15 years of experience in DJ work, parties, weddings, and also special events. And the price is right. He will not take you to the cleaners like the others. So 412-545-4317. Don't delay. Call today. All right, Smokin' Jim, are you ready tonight? We have Kip Gross coming on at around 9:15. Kip Gross will be on. He's running behind schedule because he had to catch an emergency flight to get back home to Arizona. So we'll get him on shortly. He's a former Major League Baseball player and pitcher. We'll have him on later on. All right, Smokin' Jim, let's get started with the Steelers. I want to talk about the Steelers tonight. I have a lot to talk about with the Steelers. First of all, social media has put out there, Arthur Mollett has come out on social media and badmouthed the Steelers. He said he had a contract that he was promised. He had a handshake deal with the team, supposedly. And, handshake deals are not the best thing in the world, Smokin' Jim. I think you know that as well. But what I want to say, what I'm saying is now he's badmouthing the front office, saying that, instead of paying him, they cut him. What do you think of this Arthur Mollett thing?
Well, he's not the first player the Steelers lied to.
Yeah, I know. They've lied to a lot of people. How's Kelly Russell put it? Diabetes. Diabetes. So, but anyway, yeah. So Arthur Mullet's not happy with the team, and that's to be said. He got cut from the team anyway. All right, this week Brett Kiesel stopped by OTAs. Also signed Steelers signed pass rusher Marcus Golden. What do you think about Marcus Golden?
I tell you what, man, if he has anything left in the tank, man, he was he had a very good career, man. He had some outstanding seasons. He's another guy that can really get after the quarterback. So we'll have to wait and see. A lot of times, man, these guys get old overnight. So let's see if he still has some tread left on the tire. If he does, that's a good signing.
All right, Steelers signed a fast wide receiver. They said they checked him out in the combine. Cody Christ, he's from Sam Houston State. He was he's a fast wide receiver. The wide receiver room's now starting to get crowded. Smokin' Jim, what do you think of that?
Well, yeah, you can throw all the mud up against the wall that you want to, but you still done that up to one Jordan Addison. You gotta have, Terry Bradshaw wasn't nothing, even with that great arm that he had, until you had a Swan and stalwarts. You gotta have, Kenny Stabler had the Biletnikoff and Branch. You got to have guys that your quarterback feels comfortable with, and just because the guy was great at Sam Houston State don't mean he's going to have the chemistry with Kenny Pickett that the Pittsburgh Steelers need.
Exactly. All right. Also, I wanted to let you know, and I think you probably know this guy, Mark Gorshak. He's retiring. He's a scout, 66 years old. June 2nd, which is this Friday, he's officially retiring. What's your thoughts on Mark Gorshak?
He had a very nice career. He did some really good things, man. Was a team ball player, team employee. So I'm sure at that age he was being pushed out the door.
All right. Kevin Dotson has said in a recent interview that there is nothing he can do, but he knows he could lose his job. I think that's the case when they brought in Samalu from Philadelphia. We were just discussing that off air before we came on. And what do you think of this?
Well, hey, people know the team will have to tell you when you bring somebody in that's better than you. They brought in maybe the best offensive left guard in all of football. The only problem is he's really been healthy for a full season. Last year was a rarity where he played all the games and played at a Pro Bowl level and made the Pro Bowl. So if Isaac stays healthy, he's going to be the best left guard in football. Plus, he's very smart, intelligent. He can really help the rookie as far as his NFL IQ. He can really help him out a lot.
All right, Steelers cut before OTAs. They made some cuts. They cut inside linebacker Jay Crowder, outside linebacker Amika Gabu, and my favorite running back. And I always I liked them. And the only reason I like him is because I like his first name, Master Teague. So there you are. Not Master P, Master Teague. So there you are there. Also signed outside linebacker Toby Najugwe. So anyway, one thing I want to talk about tonight, Smokin' Jim, with you. Ben Roethlisberger made some statements recently about Kenny Pickett. Then he has the audacity about 2 weeks ago to have him on his podcast and kiss his butt. What do you think about this?
That's just Ben being Ben.
Yeah, I know. I understand it. But, I think that's wrong. He badmouthed the guy on social media and said he's not that great of a quarterback, and then has him on his show and kisses his butt. And I think that's just not appropriate. That's like me badmouthing you and having you on my show. You understand what I'm saying? And, I wouldn't.
Terry Bradshaw made a career out of it. So Terry Bradshaw used to throw John Elway under the bus all the time, and then he ended up interviewing John Elway. You think that he loved John Elway? He used to say he didn't win at Stanford. He never won a Super Bowl. Why is he getting all this money? Then when he interviews him, it's totally opposite. So, yeah, that's just Bradshaw being Bradshaw and Big Ben being Big Ben. But I do agree with you.
Pirates, we'll get started with them. They lost to San Francisco yesterday, 14-4. Rich over the hill didn't pitch very well yesterday. I watched the first inning, and he gave up 5 runs, and I think it was the second inning he gave up like 5 runs. And he got through the first inning, but the second inning he gave up like 5 runs, and then the rest of the way was just a mess for them. First time this season under 500. They play San Francisco tonight at 9:45 p.m. Oviedo is the starting pitcher tonight. What are your thoughts on the Pirates and this May slide?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Also, I've seen teams give up a 2-touchdown lead, which is 14 points. But I've never seen a team give up a 14-game lead that fast, man. I tell you what, May has been like the St. Valentine's Day
Massacre. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You
know? I know what you're saying, man. It's been tough. Vince Velasquez hurt again, elbow stiffness in the same arm. They're going to evaluate him and go from there. The May slide continues, as we just talked about. Reynolds, Hayes, big pay players making mistakes. What do you think of this, Smokin' Jim?
I always say you are what, and Claudio Rossano taught me this, you are what the back of your baseball card says you are. And the back of the Pirates baseball card is saying exactly what you've been seeing in the month of May.
Oh, absolutely. And one other thing, too, I wanted to talk about the Pirates. There were a few articles today in some of the papers questioning why the Pirates gave Derek Sheldon an extension on his contract. Do you think he should have got an extension, or do you think this year should have been the year that he does something or he's out? What do you think?
No, I have no problem with them spending some money because it's a rarity. They haven't done that before. They put all the profits in their pocket, so it's good that they're spreading it around a bit.
Yeah, what do you think of Ben Sherrington's performance right now? I also read a couple articles today that he's being questioned by a lot of the media in this town. I think he's doing a pretty decent job based on what he has to work with, and I think he's doing a good job of building the team. I've said this many times, Smokin' Jim, Rome wasn't built in a day, so the Pirates can't build their team in a day. It's going to take some time. They're looking at 2024 as the year that they're going to make it. What do you think?
Well, give him a nickname of Mike because he's mediocre Mike like the rest of them, brother.
Mediocre Ben, huh? There you go. All right. Starting a homestand against St. Louis on Friday. And don't forget on Blog Talk Radio, Tarek Brock is on with Mark Mancini every Monday and Friday morning also. So, and what will June bring, Smokin' Jim? You think June's going to be better for this team, or do you think this team's going to continue to struggle? What do you think?
I think June will bring May showers.
All right. Why the Pirates have not called up some of these players from the minors? I'm hearing story. Well, we know Henry Davis and Indy Rodriguez, the 2 catchers that were first-round picks, are both in the minors still. Why haven't they been brought up? What's the problem here? Why do we have players? Where's Quinn Priester? How come he hasn't been brought up? He's doing well down there. He's a pitcher. Do you think that maybe the Pirates are playing too much caution, or do you think they have the right formula for this?
Well, I'm not gonna question their philosophy as far as when the guy is ready to come up from the minor leagues. They've been doing a very good job of stockpiling talent in their minor league system, and you can see a lot of that talent throughout the Major League Baseball doing well when they leave the Pittsburgh Pirates. So I'm like you and a lot of other people. I think that the sooner the better that you bring some of these young guys up, and they can bring a lot of enthusiasm to the team and a lot of energy. But I'm not going to, I'm not going to second guess their philosophy.
All right, let's talk about the Penguins here. Brian Burke is now working as an analyst. Oh, God help us. Okay. He's working as an analyst right now. And he made some comments about the Penguins organization, which, of course, he's going to do. He says the Penguins need to go out and get a decent general manager. Or they need to, or that they should have never fired him and Hextall. Well, first of all, Brian, I have this to say, and you know me, Smokin' Jim, I tell it like it is. All right. First of all, if you would have did your job, which you didn't do, you were in charge of player personnel. You didn't do your job, and so therefore you got fired. And what I don't understand is why in the world didn't you do your job here like you did elsewhere? Is it something that maybe you have against the Penguins that you decided you weren't going to do your job? Is that what the whole thing is here? He was nothing but a waste, Smokin' Jim. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, brother.
And then for him to sit there now that he works as an analyst and just goes on and on and on about the Penguins. I mean, come on. All right, the GM search is down to these candidates. Right now, we're looking at Eric Tulsky, Kyle Dubas, Martin Larch, and also Steve Greeley. Those are the candidates at this time that they are looking at for GM. I told you about Kyle Dubas. Nobody believes me. Why is it that people don't listen to what I have to say or think that they know better than I do? They don't. I said that the Fenway Group, Smokin' Jim, did I not, in prior shows, did I not, or past shows, did I not say that the Penguins ownership group, the Fenway Group, have deep pockets and they're going to find a way to get Kyle Dubas, and guess what? They're working on it. Kyle Dubas has retired from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He did that program. He did that team very well, okay, for when he was there. And they did a lot better when he was in charge of the team. And now I told you this. I said this many times, and you believed all the other pundits in this town. You didn't believe me when I said they have deep pockets and they're going to sign Kyle Dubas. So it's looking like he may be the top candidate, Smokin' Jim. What do you think of this?
Yeah, and then, people ought to listen to your broadcast, all of your broadcasts, because your, predictions have been almost 100%, and you've been calling for this for a while, so it looks like it's going to happen.
Yes, it is. It's looking that way, but there are still some other candidates. I hear they're doing some interviews with some people. They have their list boiled down to these four guys that I just mentioned. President of hockey operations, they're looking at Mark Bergeron, who's a very good hockey guy. And again, they have deep pockets, Smokin' Jim. Mark Bergeron would be a great signing to bring him in here for the Penguins. This would be a great front office staff. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
All right. Rumors are that the New York Rangers are pursuing Mike Sullivan. Now, Sullivan has made statements that he's staying here with the Penguins. But you know what the saying goes, right, Smokin' Jim? When the money talks and the BS walks. So it looks like Mike Sullivan could walk if the Rangers decide to pull out some money out of their pockets and sign him. Do you think Sullivan would go if the Rangers came calling?
Why not?
Yeah, I know. You know what? If I'm Mike Sullivan, I would take that job because I'll tell you why. You don't know what this new GM's going to do. Okay, and I don't care what the ownership group says or so-and-sos are going around going, well, he needs to get along with Mike Sullivan. No, he doesn't. Kyle Dubas or whoever gets this job, and I'm telling you, it's going to be Kyle Dubas. If he gets this job and he comes in here and he decides he doesn't like Mike Sullivan and he wants to get a new coach, what do you think's going to happen, Smokin' Jim? He's going to get a new coach. Am I right?
You're right.
So, I mean, so anyway, former GM of Arizona also is being interviewed. I don't know why the Pens are interviewing this guy because Arizona has never been a decent team. John Shaka, he was fired, after the season was over. Arizona's moving anyway. They've been playing in the Arizona State facility with 5,000 fans is all they can fit in there. That's the capacity. They lost their arena rights. I don't know what happened down there. I've been trying to get Cornelius Brad Hanna on here. He's the guy down in Arizona who has a national show on Thursdays, and I've been trying to get him on to ask him what is going on with the Arizona Coyotes. Why in the world are they leaving? Why isn't the city back? The city has turned down 2 votes already, Smokin' Jim, for a new arena. They're doing another Oakland where they just don't seem to care about their teams or anything like that. Or maybe they just don't feel like they should pay for a facility where you got to go and spend a lot of money anyway. And that's, the thing nowadays, Smokin' Jim. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a shame, man. I wish we had a little bit more information, but you nailed it as usual.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's get into some other sports locally here. Maulers lost 37-31. They're now 2-5. They have 3 games left in the season. Smokin' Jim, do you think they can make it to 500 or at least win another 1 or 2 games? This was the most points that they scored all year long. It was 37-31 loss to the Philly Stars, who they beat earlier this season. What do you think of the Maulers?
I think they're starting to slip back into the pack. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, the interesting, sad part about all this, too, Smokin' Jim, about the Maulers is they hired a new coach in Ray Horton. I thought they were going to be a way better team than what they are. But the sad part about all this is that no matter what they try, they can't seem to move the football on offense. They moved the football this week, but the defense laid an egg. Special teams isn't doing their job. So when you get bad field position all the time, and we've seen that with the Steelers, how many times they've had bad field position, okay? And I've said this many times as well, they need to get a decent kick returner in here because to get some better field position and start like on the 40-yard line and the 30 instead of starting on the 10-yard line all the time. And, after a while, that gets kind of old, wears and tears your offense down and everything else. Makes it a lot harder for, a rookie quarterback or a second-year quarterback even to have to do more. What do you think of this? Do you think the Maulers will not win any more games? And what's sad about this, as I said, they hired a new coach to win 1 more game because last year they won 1 game. They were 1-9. And if they're 2-8 this year, obviously somebody, has to wear a paper bag over their head because they went and they hired a new coach to win 1 more game. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah, I agree, man. And in football, it's the little things that can make you better. Like you said, a good kick punt returner. Man, you can find those guys. They're available out there. You can bring them in every Monday until you find a good one. It's just like a field goal kicker. You can bring them in and keep bringing them in until you find one that you're satisfied with. And when you start playing the field position game, you can flip the field, man, with a good punt return guy. Eric Metcalf, when he used to play for the Cleveland Browns, used to have the NFL petrified. They were scared to death. They were playing back on their heels, especially the good Pittsburgh Steelers team. They was scared to death of Eric Metcalf. He was a Steelers killer. And those guys are out there. You can find them. You can evaluate them. You can bring them in for tryouts and workouts even during the season. And you'd be surprised the difference that they make as far as winning and losing football games.
Do you think that the Steelers this year, and getting back to the Steelers a little bit here while we're on this conversation, do you think Calvin Austin would be a good kick returner if he stays healthy?
We'll see.
Yeah, he hasn't had any game action. We don't know what he can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he did it in Memphis. He did it all in Memphis, but still, you can do it all wherever you are. And I'm going to say this. And Guy Junker used to say this all the time. You can't help the club if you're in the tub. And that's a simple fact. I mean, the great Guy Junker. I mean, I'll take his quote, So, all right.
Well, the Steelers had fast guys before. Dre Archer.
Oh, yeah.
From Kansas State. They thought he was going to be great. I never thought he was. I thought he was going to be a bust, and he was. It doesn't matter how fast you are. You don't have to be that fast to
right.
But you got to have quick feet. You got to have good vision, And something that Marty Schottenheimer told me one time when I asked him about a guy and whether he'd be a good head coach or not, he said, "Yeah, I think he'll be a good head coach, but until you've done it, we'll never know." So that's it.
Right.
Until he's done it, I'll be bringing people in every Monday for tryouts to see if I can find me a guy that can flip the field for me.
Remember that time Sean Sweezum got hurt, and that knee injury ended up ending his career when he got hurt. Remember the Steelers were hauling kickers in like every Monday morning.
That's it. Until you find one, man.
You find
They're
one.
out there. They're all bartenders waiting for an opportunity.
Bagging groceries like
like
Kurt Warner or whatever.
Kurt Warner, man. Those guys, man, you just keep bringing them in until you find one, and all of a sudden you find one, you be like, "Whoa, we got one here, man."
Well, Jeff Reed was working on a farm, and he still has a farm. He has his farm down in North Carolina. So if he's not staggering around the South Side,
good, man. You keep bringing them in until you find one that can do it, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would do that because that's been like I said, that's been our biggest battle. Has been field position. We haven't had a good kick returner or a punt returner in a while.
When's the last time we had a Pro Bowl kick returner or punter? We haven't. We have good field goal kickers because they kept bringing them in until they find one they can put it through the uprights. But how about kick returner, kickoff return guy?
Yeah,
punter?
exactly.
We haven't had an All-Pro, and they seem to be content, man. No, you can't be content.
You can't. No, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's mediocre Mike and his infinite wisdom. So. But anyway, the Riverhounds 5-5-2. They caught up, won 4 in a row. They caught up now. They're 5-5-2, which is great. They have 20 points and also within 12 games. And they also have 20 points. Their next game is this Saturday in Phoenix. And then they also they beat Columbus 2 weeks ago 1-0, and they beat London 1-0. Pittsburgh Passion, they beat the Detroit Venom on May 20th, 28-6. Next game is June 3rd against the DC Divas. They play them and they're going to be playing that game at Mahalik Thompson Field. Those of you who are used to them playing at West Allegheny has some kind of something going on there that day. Maybe graduation or something, I don't know. And they had to move the game to Slippery Rock, which is Mahalik Thompson Field at Slippery Rock University or high school. They had to move the game to there. So those of you who have passion tickets for the DC Diva game, that's where we are there. All right, any comments on the Riverhounds of the Passion here, Smokin' Jim?
No, I've been wanting to get to a Pittsburgh Passion game this year. I got to look at their schedule and see how many more home games they have. I think they're running out of a schedule already.
Yeah, I think they only play like 8 games. So, I mean, they already played, I think, 5 or 4. Okay. So they don't have that many games in the season. I'd like to go. I have to go pick up our credentials, and I think you and I can go to a Riverhounds game. That'd be nice. You know what I'm saying? So, But anyway, national and other sports national news. NFL, you ready for this, Smokin' Jim? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Jimmy Garoppolo has failed his physical with the Las Vegas Raiders. Failed his physical.
No, are you serious?
I kid you not, man. He's failed his physical, and now they have to rework his contract in case he fails. I guess he's going to try again, or they're going to do something. But as of right now, he can't play for them. He failed his physical. That's almost like what Larry Okunjoki did with the Bears. The Bears were prepared to pay him millions of dollars, and he failed his physical. And then the Steelers got him on a cheap.
Wow.
So, I mean, Garoppolo cannot play as of right now. And so also Minnesota, you ready for this? Trades Dalvin Cook, their top running back, to the Buffalo Bills.
Well, you know what? If Buffalo uses him right, doesn't his brother play for them too?
Yeah, I think his brother does.
His brother's a running back for the heck, man.
Yeah,
family reunion.
Yeah, it'll be the Cook connection.
They got to get Josh. They got to get Josh Allen, man, to use the running game. That'll help it.
Oh yeah.
That'll help in the win column a lot. They refused to run the football last year.
Oh, I know.
And Josh Allen was a leading rusher.
Did you see Ken Dorsey when they screwed that one play up and they lost that game by 1 or 2 points, that one game, and he was throwing his clipboard all over the place, jumping or getting all angry, cleared the whole table of papers and whatever he had to knock the computer over and everything. He was so angry. He was pounding on the walls and everything. It was funny as heck because Ken Dorsey's the offensive coordinator there with Buffalo, and so it's amazing. Minnesota this year should be pretty good on defense. They have Brian Flores there this year, Smokin' Jim. What do you think?
Well, that's good. He's a good defensive mind. I'm really surprised he was able to get that position while still suing the National Football League. So I guess we're living in different times.
Well, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what the Steelers' defense is going to look like this year without his wisdom involved in it. I mean, and Jerry Oslavsky's gone, and we're going to find out what these linebackers are made of. We're going to find out how this defense is going to work. This is an opportunity right now, Smokin' Jim, for Terrell Austin to show us what he can do. And Mediocre Mike's going to put his thumbprint on that. So, I mean, it's not like, Terrell Austin's going to be the defensive coordinator. You might as well call him co-defensive coordinator because it seems like Mike Tomlin wants to get involved in the whole entire thing. So, with the defense. All right, next, Super Bowl locations for the next 3 years, Smokin' Jim. You ready?
Uh-huh.
2024, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas where the Raiders play. 2025, the Little Caesars Dome in New Orleans, formerly known as the New Orleans Superdome or whatever. They have a name now. It's the Caesars Dome, New Orleans, Louisiana. 2026, Levi Stadium in San Francisco. So what's your thoughts on those?
Well, when I talked about 5 years ago, when I talked to my friend Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL,
right.
And I asked him, would there ever be a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh? He said, not while I'm commissioner. So you see that Pittsburgh is not on that list. But, yeah, that's great, man. I missed the opportunity. I had a Super Bowl package to go to Phoenix this year. And after the things that happened to my house while I was in Atlanta during Christmas, I sold my package. So I didn't want to do anything
that's
have
sad.
another one of disaster. But
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, I mean it's okay now, but those are great places, man. I think the Super Bowl should be an experience all week long. And those are some great cities with some nice weather and dome stadiums for the most part. Yeah, I think it's great. I would love to go to a Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
Well, the 2024 Super Bowl, Smokin' Jim, was supposed to be, from what I understand, in Ford Field in Detroit. But supposedly they decided not to do that. It was when we were in Super Bowl 40, the Steelers against Seattle. It was at Ford Field. I heard the city was terrible. So I guess perhaps the city might not be able to handle another Super Bowl. I guess that's their mindset there because, Detroit's not. I mean, again, I've said this many times. I never saw a city in my life that has a casino and they're bankrupt. I just don't. I don't get that at all. That still has me puzzled, Smokin' Jim. And until I find somebody from Detroit's government that can tell me that, I'm just going to continue to say it because I can't figure that out at all. So I mean, I do hear good stories about Detroit, but I do hear a lot of bad stories about Detroit. I'm to the conclusion here that they moved it to Allegiant Stadium because Detroit probably couldn't handle it when they were there for Super Bowl 40. So I'm assuming that maybe perhaps they can't handle it now either. So 100 days to kick off, Smokin' Jim. 100 days.
Wow, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the NFL is able to stay as one of the top stories. They know how to do it, from the combines to the Senior Bowl games to the draft, the mini camp, the free agency. They just know to struggle release.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
know how to stay on the front pages. But did everybody lose a ton of money last night, or was it just me?
No, I guess it was just you. I don't know. I mean,
Boston Celtics losing at home.
Yeah, I
to
heard
Miami
about that.
Heat.
So
oh my goodness!
You know who's eating that up? You know who's
brother.
eating that up? Smoking Jim, Avi
The
Greenwald.
bookies.
Yeah, the bookies,
okay.
Avi
Yeah,
Greenwald.
That's right.
You know,
how in the world do you win 3 games in a row and you come home for the 7th game in front of your home fans and you lay an egg like that?
Man,
and the bookies just cleaned up everybody that I know across the world bet money on the Boston Celtics last night, and the bookies just raked it all in, man, everywhere but Detroit.
well, how about how about the bookies? How about the bookies making money because there were a bunch of people out there that were betting that it was going to be a Boston LA a championship game. I would have loved to have seen that again. You know, the old rivals going up against each other. We saw that back in the day. You know. Yeah. So I mean, you know, Boston and Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers. That would be an interesting game. I would think, because it's back to the old school teams that we used to follow back in the day. A lot of the guys that I used to follow in the NBA are all gone now. I don't follow the NBA hardly at all. Right now, I'm following it a little bit because of the championship coming up, and that's about as far as I'll go. I wonder what Detroit's going to do with all the money that the casino made on the Boston loser last night. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting scenario there, you know. So yeah, we'll see what happens with all that, you know. So, but anyway, the NBA game, that was crazy. Now it's the Miami Heat versus the Denver Nuggets. Oh my gosh, who would ever thought Denver would have been? You know what I mean? You know, so
TV ratings are going to be so poor for that.
Right. So yeah, exactly. All right. I just got an email from Kip Gross. It looks like due to some issues from the airport, he's late being picked up. He's not going to be able to get on to the show, so we're going to have to reschedule Kip Gross. So that's what we're going to have to do there. So let me. I'll re-email him and let him know what's. That we're going to have to reschedule him. I'm sorry about that, everybody. And I tried to get somebody on to talk about the Pirates. I reached out to a couple guys. Neither one of them could be on tonight either. I guess everyone's doing an extended vacation due to the holiday week.
That's right.
But anyway, Smokin' Jim was over at someone's house having steaks. So there you go. Anyway, NCAA football. Former Wisconsin coach Paul Chryst has a new job. He's the new offensive assistant at Texas. Steve Sarkisian hired him. What do you think of this?
Say that again?
Paul Chryst, former Pitt coach, former head coach at Wisconsin, recently got fired at the end of last season, or in the middle of the season last year, is now the offensive assistant at Texas under Steve Sarkisian. What's your thoughts on that?
Wow. You know what? Paul Chryst got done a raw deal. I thought he did very good at Wisconsin.
Yes.
He don't have much of a personality.
No, he doesn't.
But he loves his Wisconsin Badgers. And he really had them always playing pretty good football. And I thought it was a raw deal he got when he got let go. So where's he at now? He's the offensive coordinator where?
He's an offensive assistant working under Steve Sarkisian, the head coach down at Texas.
Okay. Hey, he'll get the running game.
Get the
running game.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I liked Paul Chryst when he was our head coach here. And the only reason he left to take that Wisconsin job was because at the time, Mark Nortenberg was the chancellor at Pitt. Okay. And let me explain this to everybody here. And a lot of people don't know this, but I do, because I used to be inside. I used to work, at the Pitt games, and I used to work inside the inner circles of things at Pitt. All right. At Heinz Field and all that. Let me tell you something. Paul Chryst was a decent coach. He was here for about 3-4 years. every year but one, he went to a bowl game. Okay, which for Pitt is something. Okay, at the time. All right. Anyway, he had a great running game going. He had a good thing going at Pitt for a little while. He couldn't work under Steve Peterson. Okay, that's why when Dave Wannstedt got fired, and then Fraud Graham was here, Todd Fraud Graham. Okay, when he was here, he left too because of Steve Peterson. He said, I couldn't tolerate him constantly sticking his nose in football's business. He said, let me be the coach. Let me coach the team. And he wouldn't leave Paul Chryst alone either. Paul Chryst got disgusted. He told Mark Nortenberg, and he told the athletic director at the time, Jeff Long. He says, listen, I'll stay here, but you got to do, or I'm sorry, he was talking to Nortenberg, and he told Mark Nortenberg straight up, I'm leaving if you don't get rid of Steve Peterson. So he decided to keep Steve Peterson, and out the door went Paul Chryst. And then we had to and that's when Narduzzi came in. But Narduzzi was hired by the other athletic director that took over after Steve Peterson was fired when the new chancellor Gallagher took over. So, I mean, and that's how this has all gone down. And I was sad to see him leave, but he went back to his alma mater, Wisconsin, and he got the running game going there again, a mean and nasty defense. So, there we are. And, Wisconsin always pumps guys into the NFL, whether it's running or defense. It's just like Iowa. How many times have I said Iowa always puts out? Kirk Ferentz always has great athletes there. And even if they go to a sad bowl game, they still, believe it or not, Kirk Ferentz still has that Iowa team, always winning every year, always going to a bowl game. He's been with them for a long, long time as their head coach. They have great talent that comes out there all the time. Tight ends, wide receivers, linebackers, running backs, whatever, quarterbacks. What do you think of all this, Smokin' Jim?
Well, I think you said it best, so I'll just put another spin on it. I think that sometimes guys make some mistakes and they learn from it. Saban, the coach for Alabama, got offered almost the whole state of Texas to leave Alabama and coach Texas. But he was smart and he stayed at Alabama, and his legacy is going to be just unbelievable and unmatched. I always thought that Johnny Majors made a major mistake leaving Pitt for Tennessee, even though that's his alma mater. He had Pitt as the best team in all of college football. He had the best coaching staff that he put together. The recruits were just coming in, and he left to go to Tennessee and made a mistake. Johnny Majors could have went down as one of the greatest coaches in college football history. Jackie Sherrill made a mistake leaving Pitt for Texas A&M. So you see that all the time. Hey, life is about the decisions that you make. And sometimes you make a good decision. Sometimes you make a bad decision. But, just to go back, because you had some fond memories of that institution, it's not reason to always leave a good situation, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, Johnny Majors came back for a second stint, and it was terrible. It was just horrible, his second stint in the mid-'90s. I remember when he came back, and he got screwed by Philip Fulmer, and who he actually, believe it or not, was the one who tutored him through the coaching ranks down there in Tennessee. And then he didn't trust anybody, and he had bad coaches because he didn't trust nobody. His offensive coordinator was Ken Karcher. I mean, gosh, we remember Ken Karcher when he was a pro quarterback. He wasn't even that great, and then to be the offensive coordinator. Oh, my. All right, Yankees in Major League Baseball released Aaron Hicks. I tell you what, Aaron Hicks was a great player. I don't know what happened to him, but the Yankees released him, and that's pretty sad. NBA news, the Clippers. Guess who the Clippers landed in a trade, Smokin' Jim?
Who's that?
Kyrie Irving.
Really?
Yeah, Dallas traded him to the Clippers.
Wow, the Lakers was trying to get him.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Clippers got him instead. So, Milwaukee Bucks have hired Adrian Griffin former Mavericks coach, to be their new head coach, and that's some small NBA news. I got a very special thing for us tonight, Smokin' Jim, that we're going to do. I have a top or a with all 32 NFL coaches, worst to best, and best is number 1. All right. So let's start at number 32. You ready? Smokin' Jim?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Jeff Saturday, the number 32. What do you think of that? Of course, he deserves to be at number 32. He was a horrible head coach. So, all right, next. Steve Wilkes, Carolina. What do you think of that one? 31.
Wow.
All right.
I don't know how. I mean, I thought Wilkes did a great job there.
I thought so too, but this is what they gave him here. Number 30, Nathaniel Hackett. Gosh, Nathaniel Hackett shouldn't even be in this count. I shouldn't even be on this list at all. He was a horrible head coach. All right, he's the new offensive coordinator with the Jets and with Aaron Rodgers, so we'll see what he does there. Number 29, Lovie Smith of Houston. This is all from last year. Lovie Smith of Houston. What do you think of that at number 29?
Yeah, he could have been 32 as well.
All right, next, number 28, Matt Eberflus, the head coach in Chicago. Chicago had a rough time last year with him, but this will be his second season. We'll see what he does there with the Bears. Number 27, and I thought this guy should have been higher because he actually did a really tremendous job with the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. He's at number 27. What do you think of this?
Wow, that's crazy. Dan Campbell had a great. He should have been NFL Coach of the Year. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and guess who's at number 26 better than him? This whoever put this list together really was horrible because I'm going to tell you what it is. Cliff Kingsbury at number 26.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Number 25, Arthur Smith of the Falcons. He hasn't done anything down there. I think it's the last year of his contract. I think or Blank, who owns the Atlanta Falcons, he's going to wind up on eggshells. So we'll see what happens there. Number 24, Dennis Allen in New Orleans. He's terrible, but he's got a quarterback now. And now he's got John Gruden as his offensive assistant down there. What do you think of that?
Wow. I love it. I love it.
I love John Gruden. He's a great guy. There were rumors that Mediocre Mike was going to bring him into the Steeler organization, but I don't see him ever firing Matt Canada. So but anyway, number 23, Ron Rivera, Washington. We all know where that's going. If he doesn't do well this year, they're going to probably bump up Eric Bieniemy, and then they're going to be really bad after that. What do you think?
Yeah.
I
agree.
Number 22, Robert Saleh. I thought that he should have been in a better position. He did pretty well for the Jets last year. The number 22. Number 21, Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. They were in the playoffs. He's at number 21. Come on. All right. They put Kevin Stefanski ahead of him at number 20. Oh, my gosh. And Todd Bowles at number 19 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have sources in Tampa. All my sources are telling me that he's on eggshells down there, Todd Bowles. After the bad season he had last year, they got him Baker Mayfield. He's got that Kyle Trask. He got that new guy that came in from Seattle. That was the quarterback's coach there. That's the offensive coordinator now. They're going to try to run the football, try to ease up for the quarterback. So we're going to find out what happens down there with Todd Bowles. Number 18, Frank Reich. He was then with Indy. He's with Carolina now. Number 18. Let me see here. Number 17, Mike McDaniel of Miami. Wow. Number 16, they have Jonathan, what's his face from down there in Arizona, and I forgot to write his last name. Jonathan Graham, the one who's the coach down there in Arizona. They have him at number 16. I don't know why they have him ahead of Mike McDaniel. I don't understand that at all. All right, number 15, Mike Vrabel of the Titans. Mike Vrabel, I think, is on eggshells this year. We're going to see how healthy Tannehill is this year. Malik Willis, I guess he was 1-2 in his starts last year. I heard that they're going to put him under the bus. What do you think about Tennessee with Malik Willis?
Um, I think he's third string down there now. I mean, they just drafted the rookie quarterback
Yeah.
that's going to move right ahead of him. So Malik Willis may be able to go somewhere. He got a strong arm, man. That's
Oh, I
what you
know. He's
can't
got
think he
speed.
can run.
He can run.
And
Oh, yeah.
he's a good leader, man. So maybe somebody might get a hurt down the line like Philadelphia got. So we'll see.
Right. I wasn't sold on him at first, but when I saw him in the Senior Bowl Smokin' Jim, he changed my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
So Brian DeBow, number 14, the New York Giants. He took them to the playoffs. I don't get this list at all. Zach Taylor ahead. Well, of course, Zach Taylor's done well in Cincinnati. But here's a guy who was ahead of both of these guys at number 12, Matt LaFleur. Green Bay didn't do anything last year at all, hardly, I don't think. So, I mean, how could he be Doug Peterson, number 11, Jacksonville? He deserves that. Doug Peterson, I think Jacksonville's even going to be even better this year with him. Pete Carroll, Seattle, number 10. Number 9, Sean McDermott, Buffalo. Number 8, your favorite coach, Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco. Number 7, Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia. Number 6, Sean McVay, LA Rams. How in the world does Sean McVay at number 6? How?
Wow.
How does Sean McVay end up at number 6? Number 5, Sean Payton, Denver. Okay. Then number 4, mediocre Mike Tomlin. Here we are, number 4. Oh, boy. So there we are. John Harbaugh, number 3, Baltimore. John Harbaugh's a good coach. Baltimore's always in contention. Number 2, of course, Bill Belichick. Who else? And guess who the number 1 guy is? You ready? Andy Reid, Kansas City.
What was mediocre Mike?
Number 4.
Okay. They like him.
And then Harbaugh at number 3, and then number 2 was Bill Belichick. Number 1, Andy Reid. So all right, Smokin' Jim, we're getting ready to wrap things up here. Do you have any final thoughts tonight before we go?
No. Great show, man. Have fun.
Oh, always. Yes, we always do. And don't forget, we are now brought to you in part by Amped Up Sports. Look for us on some national podcast, Amped Up Sports. We're now with them, and they are going to put us out there in the national scene. So we'll be on some different websites, different internet radio stations, things like that. Amped Up Sports is a comprehensive company who sponsors podcasts, and they're sponsoring us now. So we are now being brought to you not only by RW Media, but also by Amped Up Sports. And please do not forget this Thursday night at 6 p.m. Sports Corner with myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier. We'll take your phone calls, 412-231-2288. We have a special announcement to make as well. You have to tune in to find out. We'll possibly be live on their Facebook page. And also we will be not only live on the Facebook page, but it's channel 21 Comcast 47 Verizon cable. And don't forget Thursday night at 8 p.m. Wrestle Talk, Smokin' Jim. I have so much to talk about. I could fill up a library book. That's how much I have to talk about Thursday. We are going to talk about Double or Nothing, AEW. We're going to talk about the Saturday pay-per-view of the WWE, the Night of Champions, and the fall of the Bloodline. And I said this was going to happen. I was hoping it would happen at WrestleMania. No one believed me. Everyone thought I was crazy. Well, now the fall of the Bloodline is official. All right, after Jimmy Uso kicked Roman Reigns right in the face. So, I think it's the Bloodline is blowing up. There's rumors, Smokin' Jim, that Rikishi and Samoa Sika are going to try to intervene to try to get the Bloodline back together. So we're going to find out where that goes. All right. So that's for Thursday night as well. And don't forget our new time, Saturday mornings, 9:30 a.m., the External Bum Podcast with myself and Mark Mancini. We talk sports and we talk about bums in sports. And we'll preview a bum this coming Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. on Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. Wrestle Talk, Blog Talk Radio, Thursday night, 8 p.m. and it will be 347-205-9631. And guess what, Smokin' Jim? It's coming up. We got about 20 days away, or a little more than 22 days before we debut our radio show on Beaver County Radio, FM 95.7, FM 99.3, 1230 a.m. and 1460 a.m. as well. And we debut June 20th, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then every Tuesday after that. And then we'll be recording this podcast, and it'll be on Amped Up Sports' networks, and it will be on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable on a rotating basis. All right, and for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I am Ralph Williams. Everyone have yourself a great night and be safe.